Heart of the North Country is sponsored by Cascanet Ford in Carthage.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and for the next half hour, we're going to take time and appreciate the things that make the North Country a wonderful place to live.
We're looking back at the stories that showed us the heart of the North Country this year. I'm Makenzie Piatt.
And I'm Jeff Cole.
And thanks for joining us at Honeyville Manor in Adams Center for the 5th year in a row.
We kick off our show with a man from Black River who is in charge of entertaining hundreds of thousands of people from all across New York State.
Hey folks, welcome to the Great New York State Fair.
A day in the life of the New York State Fair's director, and it's a busy one, with attendance numbers continuing to grow.
The quality of the fair experience is really what we're focusing on, but numbers are definitely up from last year.
For Sean Hennessy, all 13 days at the fair consist of golf cart rides, frantic phone calls, and of course, greeting guests.
Thanks for your service, okay?
First time in about 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming back.
His day is definitely packed, bordering on hectic. That being said, Sean claims his previous work as part of the state DOT has prepared him to manage all 375 acres of the fair.
It is a bit chaotic, but you know, I thrive in that environment.
Things can happen on the fly. While touring the Dairy Products Building, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand paid a visit.
Senator, good to see you, man.
He gave her an up-close look at the fair's iconic butter sculpture.
The little bits are the important bits, you know?
After grabbing an ice cream with the senator, Sean gave us a taste of some new attractions, like this garden hosted by Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Peppery, right? It's got a little, when it goes down, it's got a peppery flavor, right?
The garden houses samples of every cash crop grown throughout New York State. Sean says it aims to spark conversation between farmers and non-farmers.
When those two communities can come together and talk, that dialogue can be very healthy and build bonds.
Inside the expo center, guests were transported to prehistoric times as part of a sprawling dinosaur exhibit. Hennessy says it aims to be educational, affordable family fun.
When a Watertown pipe burst this October and left the city and surrounding areas without water, the North Country community jumped at the chance to help. Thousands and thousands of gallons of water were hauled into the city to help people cook, clean, and carry on. Fort Drum lugged water in these hippo tanks. Fire departments like Morristown's drove in with tanker trucks, and sites were set up around the city for people to get free water. On the first night of the water main break, city workers and state police troopers took it on themselves to bring cans of water directly to doorsteps. Teams went building to building and door to door downtown to make sure no one went thirsty.
It's not what I was expecting to do today, but you know, it's a great privilege to be able to serve my community and get just water to people. You know, it's such a basic thing that we don't necessarily think of all the time.
Hundreds of cans of water were given out.
This year, we met a couple of student athletes who showed us their heart by overcoming the odds stacked against them. Indian River 8th grader Thomas Harvey was named Runner of the Year in the Frontier League. Thomas has autism and ADHD, which his dad says has made it incredibly difficult for him to play most sports. With help from his coach, Thomas has been able to compete in cross-country races.
I know there's going to be other kids that are going to be faster than him. I know that he's not going to finish with like the best time, but the fact that people still stand there and wait for him to finish and cheer him on when he's in that last final stretch, it means the world to us.
Thomas's story went viral when a Facebook post of him and his coach running reached around 30,000 people. As his coach told him, "You're famous now, Thomas." In Morristown, we met another student who showed us that by being legally blind, it doesn't mean that you can't compete or even dream big. Here's Sean Brinda.
Diagnosed with glaucoma at birth, Noelle Ducharme is legally blind. But that doesn't affect her when playing her favorite game, goalball, a sport played by the visually impaired. Participants play in teams of 3 and try to throw a ball past opponents and into their net to score points.
When I first played it, I felt like it's something that I could actually do and compete with.
The ball itself is about the size of a medicine ball, weighs about 4 pounds, and has a bell inside so players know which way the ball is rolling. While some players may have some sight, everyone wears an eye mask to level the playing field. Ropes let competitors know where they are on the court. Noelle and her mother Sarah practice at Morristown Central. And every 2 weeks, Noelle plays on a goalball team in New York City, hoping to qualify for the 2028 Paralympic Games in Los Angeles.
She's very shy, very quiet. So for her to be so outgoing like this, as a total go-getter, it was like amazing.
When practicing at the Morristown gym, Noelle appreciates her classmates' support.
My classmates say that it's cool and they would like to see more of it.
Playing as much goalball as she can and hoping to become a member of Team USA in 5 years.
Heart can mean so many things. In some cases, it's resilience. We saw that as people began rebuilding after a pair of fires. In Watertown, St. Anthony's Church rebuilt its pavilion this year, opening it in time for sausages to be served at the Mount Carmel Feast. And in Depauville, a popular family restaurant was destroyed in April, but the owners of the Depauville Hotel are already rebuilding. They hope to have the restaurant up and running again in the spring.
That same spirit, that same vibe, that same family fun atmosphere will still be here.
In August, we met a little girl who is battling cancer. Her father praises the Make-A-Wish Foundation for giving her a generous gift. Here's Brendan Straub.
I mean, they're begging to get in it right now, and it's what, 72 degrees?
On a cooler July night, their new pool might be a bit too chilly to jump into, but the Scholl family is loving the addition. The above-ground pool and attached deck were a wish come true for their 3-year-old daughter, Eliana. Since it was built, her parents say the kids have barely left the pool.
Oh, I've never been happier. You know, the kids are having fun, and that's what counts.
It was a wish granted by Make-A-Wish of Central New York. You see, a couple years ago, Eliana was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma, a rare cancer that affects children mostly under the age of 5. She was in remission for a while, but the cancer came back this past winter and just had to resume monthly chemo treatments. But this new pool has helped to keep her focused on being a kid.
They're definitely going to get their use out of it, that's for sure.
To celebrate her new pool, Eliana was greeted by her volunteer wish granters who stopped by with some cupcakes and goodies. This was the first time these two women have been able to interact with Eliana in person.
I'm just now getting to the point where I can do it without crying happy tears every single time. It's so amazing when you see the looks on their face.
A wish that her father says means more than anyone could imagine.
There's a lot more kids out there in the same situation or even worse. And so for an organization to be able to do that, that means a lot.
We have more stories to come on Heart of the North Country,
including a wolf pack reunion. After nearly a decade apart, a lone wolf becomes leader of the pack.
Plus, we'll meet the self-titled Crazy Cemetery Lady, Lowville Citizen of the Year, and learn what's lost beneath the waters of the St. Lawrence River.
Throughout the year, Emily Griffin brings us stories highlighting the history of the North Country, the farmers who take care of their lands, and other inspiring stories that warm our hearts.
Throughout the year, there have been several developments in the agricultural industry. Through state funding and the NNY agricultural program, researchers have found a way to make syrup from beech trees.
It's kind of exciting to be able to do research when there's nothing to even build off of.
And we've explored the use of kefir as an additive to calf diets.
You want a calf to be healthy, grow fast, put on weight, and be able to move on up the chain.
Some farmers have gotten creative with new technologies, like Humblebee Farms in Lyons Falls, growing lettuce and other greens in a shipping container.
This is about 95% more efficient than soil farming, and it's available year-round.
Or the Clock Family Farm in Lafargeville, where cows are treated to automated milking and feeding systems.
Don't be afraid of the technology, and you will be surprised at how much it will do for you.
Some farmers are picking up production for the future of ag. Joe Eisel of Northern Limits Farm in Canton explained the benefits of hemp.
Put it on your arthritic fingers, put it on your knees, and just give it a chance. You'll say, why didn't I try this years ago?
We've also learned a lot about the history of the area. We paid tribute to the father of library organization Melville Dewey, born and raised in Adams Center.
Libraries frankly needed some help. They were kind of disorganized, so that led to his first crowning achievement, the Dewey Decimal Classification System.
And we learned about the woman dubbed the female Mark Twain, Marietta Hawley of Ellisburg.
Back in the 1880s, Marietta was one of the most famous writers.
And through her writing, she let women know that they had power.
We also took a dive below the surface level into the fascinating history of shipwrecks along the St. Lawrence River.
These old British sailing ships that were used in battle to fight the U.S. and the Americans in the War of 1812, you can go see them. They're there.
And in Lyons Falls, we fished for more information about the mysterious Black River monster.
She is approximately 25 feet long. She's got silver eyes and fins, so we're told, the size of hands.
With our North Country Inspiration segment, we recognize the people currently making the North Country special. Rick Bush, a 66-year volunteer at the Lowville Fire Department, who was crowned Citizen of the Year for his service.
You have to be dedicated. That's the big thing. You got to be dedicated and want to help people.
And dotting across cemeteries across the North Country is Allie Stevenson, who spends her time cleaning graves for free.
I want to make sure that, they're remembered. They're not just like lost to time, because everybody has a story.
And we were reminded the value of positivity. 8-year-old Olivia Gorman in Evans Mills showed us she's just like other kids despite a complicated airway diagnosis.
It's fine if you're different or not, because everyone's different.
Every day is an opportunity to learn from the people, places, and things around us. These stories give us a sense of pride for our area, and it's been a pleasure to share them with you.
In August, Diane Rutherford went for a ride along with police, not on patrol, but for some training in high-pressure situations.
Police from a dozen agencies gather at Fort Drum to take part in the Emergency Vehicle Operators course. In the real world, they'll use what they've learned to make split-second decisions.
Nobody getting hurt is our first goal. Catching the bad guy is the second goal.
Many agencies allow their officers to give chase only if the suspect committed a violent crime.
It's not just like in the movies where you're pursuing with wild abandon. You have to make sure that you're considering all of the legal aspects. It's easy to get into a pursuit. The hard part is deciding when to stop or if you should continue.
Officers are under intense stress, multitasking, considering weather and road conditions, communicating over the police radio.
It's extremely mentally and physically tasking. Most patrol officers around this area work alone.
Between firearms and vehicle operation, those are the most dangerous things that we get into. This training helps us lower our liability, makes us safer, makes the general public safer.
Zoo New York has had a special place in many of our hearts for the past century. This past spring, a heartwarming story of a family reunion. Luna, the gray wolf, had spent the last couple of years alone after her parents died. Zoo leaders say being a lone wolf is no way to live for a pack animal. And in March, Luna was reunited with 2 of her littermates, almost a decade after they left for a Michigan zoo.
As a lone wolf, she was a little nervous because that's just not the way they live. Just having them together and they're howling together and playing together and doing all those wonderful things, it's great to see all that social interaction going on.
Since she lived there first, Luna quickly became the leader of the reunited pack. North Country fire departments are ready around the clock to help out their neighbors, and that can extend beyond the human kind. Lexi Bruning tells us about the story of an osprey rescue in Chaumont.
The call came in Tuesday night no one was expecting. There was an osprey stuck, string wrapped around its claws, hanging upside down off a tree along Chaumont Bay. Robert Losey's son William and his girlfriend Tracy saw it from a distance and tried to help with no luck.
It was really distressed.
The rescue was tough. The osprey was hanging about 5 to 6 feet over the water.
They were all hanging onto my back belt loop while I'm trying to stick over with a pike pole off our fire truck.
Despite the challenges, the osprey was saved.
It didn't try biting us or nothing. It was so calm, and it knew that it was getting help.
The osprey, tired from the event, was picked up and put next to the stone to rest. The next day, it was gone. Losey says it's likely among the 4 osprey that make nests along the telephone poles.
It feels good to know that we saved that bird.
It's an experience Losey will cherish.
I don't think I'll ever hold an osprey in my hand again.
And a call Lipchinsky says is for the books.
This is definitely one for the records.
Coming up on Heart of the North Country.
Oh, say, can you see?
A student's anthem performance and a Cinderella story. From hosting international games to competing at the highest level, North Country natives were involved in some of the biggest sporting events of this year.
Whether they were coaching the game or getting hit by an errant ball, there were some great stories to be told. Here's Mel Busler.
If there's one sport in the North Country is made for, it's hockey. 2023 kicked off with the FISU World University Games, and much of the hockey was played in our backyard. Clarkson University, SUNY Potsdam and SUNY Canton hosted more than 2,000 student athletes from across the world this January. Team USA coach Mark Taylor learned to skate and shoot right here.
I never would have thought, a country kid Mark Taylor from Canton was going to be able to spend a couple years in Europe playing. So hopefully these kids, go after it and see where the hockey and schooling takes them.
March Madness lived up to its name this year with big upsets in the college basketball tournament. A Cinderella team that showed heart in the big dance was Fairleigh Dickinson, led by head coach Tobin Anderson, who began his coaching career at Clarkson. His 2023 team was only the second 16th seeded team ever to defeat a team seeded number 1 in the NCAA tournament.
A lot of my foundation as a coach, as far as college coaching, came from my time at Clarkson, learning how to run a program and how to recruit and be part of the school.
Near Rochester, Ben Hutchins, a St. John Fisher student from Watertown, spent his spring helping Oak Hill Country Club prepare for the PGA Championship, one of professional golf's 4 major tournaments.
That's insane. You never know how much work goes into it when you're actually just a spectator fan. Nothing's magically placed. It's all put there by somebody. It's all taken down by somebody.
Hutchins and Sam Martin of Canton got his picture taken with tournament winner Brooks Koepka. Meanwhile, another Watertown native got his photo with a PGA pro for a different reason. Caleb McGuire was watching on hole 1 when a ball hit off the tee and hit him in the leg. Golfer Joel Damon showed why he's a fan favorite by checking on McGuire, taking a photo, and paying for his drinks.
I was like, can we get a picture at least? He's like, no problem. And then he goes, how much are beers? And George is like, they're like $17. And then Joel goes back to his golf bag, grabs his wallet out, and hands us a $100 beer, and he was, or $100 bill. And he was like, yeah, I got your beers for the week, which was cool.
Before every sporting event, there's the singing of the national anthem. And one Edwards Knox Jr. got a chance to belt it out in front of a big crowd in Syracuse. Zach Grady tells us that story.
Our national anthem, which will be sung this evening by Madeline Rowley.
Oh, say, can you see?
In front of more than 18,000 fans, Madeline Rowley was center court Tuesday night.
I was nervous, but I just closed my eyes, and I've sang at school basketball games before. I've sang in musicals, so I just closed my eyes, pretended like no one was there, and I just did it how I practiced.
Bright stars.
Rowley entered the Oh Say Can You Sing contest hosted by Syracuse University. Although she did not win the grand prize, the Orange were so impressed they invited her to sing before Tuesday's tip-off. Syracuse is one of her dream schools, and getting a chance to sing in the Dome was a dream come true.
It was such an honor to be there to sing the national anthem. It was amazing. I still don't even believe it even happened.
We have a few more stories to share with you,
including the mystery of a $1 million lottery ticket in Clayton.
And how a daughter's letter helped her mother find the dress of her dreams.
In September, a Queen of Hearts drawing in Black River came down to the very last card. After nearly a year of weekly drawings, Nicolette Werner hit the jackpot at the Village's American Legion. Werner, who organizers say volunteers a lot of time to the Legion, took home more than $27,000. Legion members say by the final drawing, the tensions were thick.
Oh, it's chaos. It's like you could hear a pin drop. It stops, and then everybody, they all look at me, and then on my hand shaking as I'm pulling the card, it's crazy to go into the last card. You almost never see that anywhere.
Meanwhile, the summer ended with a mystery in Clayton, with locals wondering who won the $1 million lottery ticket. It was the talk of the town after a second prize Powerball ticket was sold at Sliders Food Mart in mid-July. The mystery lasted months as people wondered if the ticket was sitting on top of someone's refrigerator, lost in the clutter of a table, or being held onto on purpose.
They're getting all their ducks in a row, getting their lawyers involved, getting all that, and learning to cope with it.
In late September, the puzzle was finally solved. Joanne Jeske of Binghamton came forward with the winning ticket to settle the $1 million mystery. Our last story today shows a daughter's love for her mom.
Sandy Torres takes us to a bridal shop where a touching letter won a dress from A Touch of Grace.
The one in the dress, Heidi Hitchcock, a widow, mother of 3, and now a bride-to-be. Her 13-year-old daughter, Courtney, secretly wrote a letter to this bridal shop after A Touch of Grace announced it was giving away a wedding gown.
I was shocked. I had no idea.
Her daughter says her mom deserves the dress of her dreams.
For the past 8 years or so, she's been raising us by herself, and where we are now is because of her, so I feel like she deserves a lot of stuff.
I probably wouldn't have gone out and tried on a bunch and picked out one that I really loved. I probably would have just got something to just do it so that we could just have it done, and so it makes it that much more special.
Courtney's letter hit home for the shop owner.
I'm a mom and a grandmother, and so I have 2 daughters of my own, so I put myself in her position, and the love that was in that letter was just overwhelming.
But Heidi found love knocking on her door, and after many years of dating the groom Matt, she thought it was time to walk down the aisle again.
And that's our show. Thanks for spending the last half hour with us as we celebrate the heart of the North Country.
From all of us at Channel 7, have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.